am a Filipino. I am a Filipino, inheritor of a glorious past, hostage of the uncertain future. As such, I must prove equal to a twofold task, the task of meeting my responsibility to the past, and the task of performing my obligation to the future. I sprung from a hardy race, child of many generations, removed from ancient Malayan pioneers. Across the centuries, the memory comes rushing back to me, of brown-skinned men putting out to the sea in ships that were as frail as their hearts were stout. Over the sea I see them come, borne upon the billowing wave and the whistling wind, carried upon the mighty swell of hope. Hope in the pre-abundance of new land that was to be their home and their children's forever.
This is the land they sought and found, every edge of the shore that their eyes were set upon, every hill and mountain that beckoned to them with a green and purple invitation, every mile of a rolling plain that their view encompassed, every river and lake that promised a plentiful living and a fruitfulness of commerce is a hallowed spot to me. By the strength of their hearts and hands, by every right of law human the divine, this land of all the opportunities thereof, the black of fertile soil, the seas and lakes and rivers teeming with fish, the forest with their inexhaustible wealth of wildlife, and timber the mountain with their bowels swollen with minerals and full of this rich and happy land has been. For centuries without number, the land of my fathers, this land I receive in trust from them, and in trust will pass it to my children, and so on until the world no more.
I am a Filipino. In my blood runs the immortal seed of heroes' seed, that flowered down the centuries in deeds of courage in this land. In my veins yet pulses the same hot blood, that since Tapulapo to battle, against the first invader of this land, that nerved Lacandola in the combat, against the alien foe, that drove Diego Silang and the Bukoy into rebellion, against the foreign officer, that seed is immortal. It is the self-same seed that flowered in the heart of America, that morning in Bagumbayan, when a valley of shots put us on. To all that was mortal of him, and made his spirit deathless forever. The same that flowered in the heart of Bonifacio in Balintawak, of Gregorio del Pilar at Tirang Pass, of Antonio Luna at Calumpit, that bloomed in the flowers of frustration in the sad heart of Emilio Aguinaldo at Palanong, and yet burst forth really again in the proud heart of Manuel Alcete, when he stood at last on the threshold of ancient Malacañang Palace, in the symbolic act of position and racial vindication.
The seed I bear within me is an immortal seed. It is the mark of my manhood, the symbol of dignity as a human being, like the seeds that were once buried in the tomb of Tutankhamen many thousand years ago. It shall grow and flower and bear fruit again. It is the ensign of my race, and my generation is but a stage in the unending search of my people for freedom and happiness. I am a Filipino, child of the marriage of the East and the West, with its languor and mysticism. Its passivity and endurance was my mother, and my star was the West that came thundering across the seas with the cross and sword, and the machine. I am of the East, an eager participant in its struggles for liberation from the imperialist yoke. But I also know that the East must awake from its centured sleep, shape of the letter G that has bound his limbs and start moving toward destiny away.
For I too am of the West, and the victorious people of the West have destroyed forever the people and quiet that once were ours. I can no longer live, being apart from those world now trembles to the roar of bomb and cannon shot. For no man and no nation is an island but a part of the main. There is no longer any east and west, only individuals and nation making those momentous choices that are hinged upon which history resolved. At the vanguard of progress in this part of the world, I stand a forlorn figure in the eyes of some, but not one defeated, and lost for truth the thick interlacing branches of habit and custom above me. I have seen the light of the sun, and I know that is good. I have seen the light of justice and equality and freedom. and my heart has been lifted by the vision of democracy, and I shall not rest with my land and my people shall be blessed by this beyond the power of any man or nation to subvert or destroy.
I am a Filipino, and this is my inheritance. What pledge shall I give that I may prove worthy of my inheritance? I shall give the pledge that has come ringing down the corridors of the centuries, and it shall be compounded of the joyous cries of my Malayan forebears, when they first saw the contours of this land long before. Their eyes of the battle cries that have resounded in every field of combat, from Mactan to Tyrant Pass, of the voices of my people when they sing.
Of the morning, child of the sun returning, near shall invaders trample thy
Out of the
sacred
lush
soil.
green of the 7,000 islets, out of the string of 16 million people, all vibrating in one song, I shall weave the mighty fabric of my pledge.
Out of the song of the farmer at the sunrise, when they go to labor in the fields, out of the sweat of the hard-beating pioneers in Malaig and Caramadang, out of the silent endurance of stevedores at the piers, and the ominous grumbling of Pisan, Pampanga.
Out of the first cries of babies, newborn, and the lullabies that mothers sing. Out of the crashing of gears and the whine of turbines in the factories.
Out of the crunch of plows, of turning the earth, out of the limitless patience, of teachers in the classroom and doctors, in the clinics out of the truck, of soldier marching, I shall make the pattern of my pledge.
I am a Filipino, born of freedom, and I shall not rest until freedom shall have been added unto my inheritance, for myself and my children's children forever.